Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's November 8th, and we're in the workshop here, and we're going to plant some seeds, and we're going to talk about why it's good to plant in cell trays. Okay, if you're hearing a lot of background noise, just know I got a freeze dryer running, and you might not pick it up, but if you do, that's what's going on. When we're talking about planting seeds, and the reason I plant so many things in cell trays, it could be direct planted, but the reason I think it's better to plant these in cell trays is because you don't have the germination problems, you don't have the competition problems that you would uh, when you plant them in the ground, and you don't have the spacing problems with them. Now, a lot of these plants, now I have some old seed here. These are rutabaga seeds. It's from 2 years ago, just a little over 2 years ago. And that's what I'm going to be planting today. And I'm going to put these seeds in my handy dandy planter. Now this planter here has been around quite a few years. You can pick these up on Amazon or other places. But I'm just going to put a bunch of seeds here. It makes it easier for me to space these out like they need to be. So I'll just put them in there. Now you do have different size holes. I just get one that works good for what I'm doing, because I'll just shape these out till they get in here. And I use a pair of tweezers, and I know they're down here somewhere, but I just take and rake out a couple in each slot. These still should germinate good. If I get two in a spot that comes up with these rutabagas, they'll be fine. But once I plant these and I have them in these cell trays, I can take and space these in the row to where I can get good sized rutabagas. I don't have to go back and thin because I put so many seeds. Have germination problems a lot of times when you try to do a thinner amount. Maybe one's too deep or something. Maybe a bug gets it. Ain't no telling what. And they are small seeds, so they could be like my kale, if you follow along, where it didn't germinate good, so it's kind of spaced out. But this way, you get them to where you want. And now these trays here, they are your little 6-pack trays, a 72 ounce or a 72 count tray of these. And when they come, they're usually together. I just pop them apart, and I can plant different varieties in here. And if some germinate quicker than others, say if I do rutabagas, they should come up quick. But if I do lettuce, a lot of times it doesn't come up quick. So I can take out the ones that are ready to move on, put them out. I don't wait till the end when they're ready to come out. Looks like I got trouble coming over here. Gotta be all up in the middle of things. But the main reason is so that we can get these plants to where they're not competing with the weeds. And I'll show you this out in the garden and give you an idea of what I'm talking about. But I'm going to go ahead, put a couple seeds in each of these holes. We'll talk about this just a little bit more. Okay, I have them planted here. And now, like I say, this is my recommended way. I don't recommend cups or little trays, things like that. You'll see videos where you can plant these. These are easy to transplant. The holes are easy to make. And once these come up, what I'll do is when they start getting up about an inch or a few of them, quite a few of them. I'll move these outside, so instead of having to acclimate them later on, they'll be acclimated as they grow. Now, with these trays, you get a lid. Now, this lid is only about 2 inches high. It will work, but a lot of times if you grow out something bigger and you're having a problem with the germination on them, I get these trays here. This is about a 4-inch high tray. And that way, if I have some coming up and some aren't, I can take and just use this tray. Now, I do periodically clean these so it's nice and clear. You can see, because these ones here have sat around and you can just see how dingy that is. What's going to happen if you have these on your grow station? They're not going to let a lot of light. The plants are going to get leggier, especially if you don't have a professional grow light there. Now, the setup here, like I say, this is not a professional system. It works really well. I've been using these for about, I think, going on the 3rd year on some of these that I've made. It's just LED. These are 6500 lights, so they've got a good amount of light. And I just have 3 of them on this, across this shelf, which this shelf is 18 inches. I start out with 2. I noticed my plants were wanting to lean more towards the middle, so I put in a 3rd one and respace the other. And with the window behind here, a lot of them do tend to lean that way. It's not a big deal. All my whole intent is to get them germinated. Now, when I start doing plants like my tomatoes and peppers here in a couple of months, they'll stay under it longer, and of course they'll be under my other grow station. Some of them will be in here, but anyway, we're going to take a look out here in the garden. And one thing I want to mention too, it doesn't really matter what mix you use for your starter mix. If you want to buy a starter, which gets more expensive, that's an option. Now, I screen my compost, and then I mix my own with some, and this is in equal parts. 1/3 of each is my screen wood chip compost. I have perlite, and I have peat moss. So this works good for me. It's not real coarse, because if it gets too coarse, your seeds will tend to migrate down whenever you water. Now, when you water these, just water them good when you start. And that, in most instances, you'll never have to water it again until after they're germinated. So this cover, keep that moisture in there, and they'll germinate just fine. Okay, we're out here in the garden, and I'm going to tell you why it's really important to store a lot of your seeds in cell trays. We'll zoom in a little bit, get down here. But you see all these weeds? This bed was cleared maybe a week ago, and we've been getting some rain. And when you start watering in your plants, even if you hadn't had rain, you start watering in. Now, this is what's going to happen if you was like me. You didn't get out there and weed. You had a lot of seeds that came back or that fell off these weeds that you had, and you end up with thousands of little ones come in. Now, right before we plant this, we'll come out here and we'll use stirrup hoe or something, clean this up again. But there's still a lot of weeds that hadn't germinated the seed. And what we want to do is have these plants already up and going, so you're not planting seeds and then you have all these little things come up that maybe you're right in the row where you planted the seeds, but you can't determine whether they're actually what you want and what you don't want. So that's That's the reason why I plant so much in cell trays. I normally try to get my weeds before they uh, produce seeds, get them out when they're fairly small. But sometimes you can't. Same thing over here in this row. This rain has really got a lot of these that weren't germinating. Even though I watered some, it didn't get enough moisture to germinate them. Now they're all germinating. This is the time of year to get rid of them, get them before they seed again, and you'll have a whole lot less work later on. So don't procrastinate. I know sometimes we get too much going on to where we can't take care of our garden like we'd really want to. But if possible, don't procrastinate. Keep ahead of it, and you'll have a lot less work in the end. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, of course, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, select all. And of course, give it a big thumbs up and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.